I'm so excited to have this guest on our $1 Million Life podcast, video podcast. I've been bugging Jim for a while now about getting on this show, and also just what he does that is so inspiring to me, and something that I've been using in my own personal life, and I use a little bit in our coaching program with Profit Academy. But this is the master right here. So Jim, please tell us about yourself, what your skills, and let's get diving in.
Yeah, well, first, and thank you so much for having me on. It's always an honor and a pleasure when somebody asks you, because that means they're thinking about you, and if they're thinking about you, they're not thinking about something else. And so it's an honor to be invited on. And for those people that don't know me, I won't belabor you with a big backstory. I've been in the human mind industry for over 25 years, all different aspects of it, from hypnosis. I own the National Academy of Hypnosis, to neurolinguistic programming, NLP, for a short version of that, to psychosomatic parenthetics, to psychoneuroimmunology. And the human mind is my oceanography. It's my astronomy. It's never going to be fully explored, so it's fascinating. So that translates into I'm a little OCD about it all, but I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm biased as well. I think that it expedites the results in any area, whether that be relationships, money, health, lifestyle, emotions. And so so I just think that it's something you already possess. You just need to use it, learn to use it.
Absolutely. And isn't it something that we have, 1 trillion neuronal connections in our brain? Like, we have almost, like what I say, the universe we have in our head. We have the universe here. We have the power of the universe. We were created from stardust. I mean, we're powerful creatures, but people don't know how to tap into it. What got you started on this track? I know your background in martial arts. Was that an influence? Because I know that's very, discipline, mindset, focused. I mean, what got you started on this journey?
Yeah, martial arts since I was 13 just gave me one really important thing: discipline. And if you look at people that buy a guitar, 80% of it is under their bed. They didn't have the discipline to continue through the frustration of not being able to play it. And if you're looking at the human mind, or you're looking at martial arts, or you're looking at real estate, or you're looking at anything, there's a segregation between people that say, look, I'm in it to win it. I'm going to the end of this thing. I will get a black belt. I don't care if I have 2 broken ribs, a fat lip, and a black eye. I've already made my decision, and there's no retreat or surrender. So discipline is always the omnipotent component, in anything. So I was just enamored with reading all the books, 25 years ago, Psycho-Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz, obviously Think and Grow Rich, Magic of Believing, Claude Bristol, on and on and on. And then I went to a party, and there was a hypnotist there. And I watched this guy, and it was an entertainment. It was a birthday party. He's sticking people to the wall and, making their name. But he kept mentioning the subconscious in the context of what he was doing. And so I connected those dots. I asked him, where do you learn it? He said, people teach it. I said, who's the best in the world? I'll go to Australia. I don't care. And so fortunately, it was in LA, 2-hour drive from San Diego, where I was born and raised and still live. And I went up and begged that guy to teach me. He said no. He said no again. He said no again. On the fourth time, due to my discipline and persistence and tenacity and focus, he said, okay. So I trained under him, and he's long gone. And but I went on and made a career out of it. I prefer the live events. Just because I'd rather be a guitar performer, not in the context of entertainment, but in terms of teaching people how to use their mind in front of a live audience is more my wheelhouse than, sitting in a room somewhere. So that brings us to today.
Awesome. And the energy of live, I mean, we're human creatures, we thrive on that energy that you can't see. And I believe that when you do live events, there's that natural energy exchange that you don't get through a computer. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. Anytime you can do live, and I know you promote that with people that are, in your masterminds and all that. We'll talk about that on another session. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. What do you think is the missing piece that you see commonly with, let's say, entrepreneurs or people that are trying to achieve higher level success? What do you see is that one missing link that consistently stops them from going to there or that next level?
There's 3 things, actually. One is they compartmentalize something called the other people. And there is no other people. The guy on the hill in the mansion, those are the other people. The guy driving the new Mercedes, those are the other people. The person that's over here that has harmonious relationships, those are the other people. They're not the other people. They're just functioning within that construct at a high level. So I used to tell myself, to keep myself going in the early days, I'll look and see what the average people do, and then I won't do that.
I love it.
I don't eat what they eat. I don't go where they go. I don't do what they do.
Yep.
So that keeps you functioning at a consistent above average. You don't have to be a superstar, but it consistently allows you to function above average, which rewards you, mentally. And then the other one, which you know very, very well, you're an expert in the field, is you have to control your environment, external and internal. I mean,
Yep.
100%. I had to cut loose some friends back in the day because, they were balls and chains around my ankles. Great intentions, but nothing positive that encouraged me or promoted me or supported me. And, it was kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back because Larry's, spouting off that you can't ever make it. And
Yep.
I have to get around, I'm not a robot, I have to get out of that negative influence and get around other people, i.e., in my case, entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You told me, Don, I'm going to create an earthworm and it's going to go blue at night and I'm going to drop them from helicopters all over Iowa. I go, that sounds really, really weird. But I don't know what I don't know.
That's right.
I'm not going to be a cynic.
Yeah.
You might be skeptical based on looking into it, but cynicism is different. Cynicism is complete and total disbelief. And no, I'm not going to do that. I don't know what I don't know. So I think in terms of moving forward with success, honestly, it is discipline. That is the number one thing that's going to carry you through till you get the rewards. And I'll close this question with this. If you're in business or you're an entrepreneur, and I know a lot of your listeners are, I've got the California license plate entrepreneur.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so, there's build momentum, maintain momentum, or build momentum, sustain momentum, and advance momentum. And building momentum is very difficult. It's like pushing a car up a hill without gas. You have to have that vision locked in because you're going to expend so much effort with so little reward that can you make it? And then you maintain the momentum, and then you advance it until you eventually have, some momentum moving forward on your business. I think a lot of people can't make it. It's the gym, right? The gym. They go, Jim, how come you're in great shape? I go, I eat right and I go to the gym. I didn't take a magic pill. There's no magic hypnotic spell.
Yep.
I just do these 2 things, and the results are a result.
Absolutely. And I think what I would say that I've seen too is some people that haven't, and I don't fault them for not having it, they've just not been exposed to this. Maybe in their family, they're growing up, they were never exposed to this, and they have that light in them, but they're like, how do I get there? And they see somebody like you, or I'm talking or whatever, and they go, oh, so everybody has the ability to go there if they just desire to get the mentorship they need to help them break through and understand how to develop better discipline and better thinking processes and all of that. It's there for everybody. Even if you've come from an environment that wasn't supportive like that, which many people do, right? Many people break through traumatic childhoods, negativity, and they just have that inner thing in them. And I think entrepreneurs have that golden thread between all of them. We're like eternally optimistic, right? We're going to do it. We're going to do it. What's the next thing? And so it's a fun environment to be around. But like you said, being around like people, finding that tribe that energizes you and believe, because, I always say this to like a lot of my students, is that your environment of your family may not be the entrepreneurial mentorship you need. Many of you never have an entrepreneur in your family. You have nobody that believes in what your crazy vision is. So you got to step outside that and hang out with Jim. You got to go to these events. You got to be around. You got to make an effort to get out of that loop and get into the environment that you want to be. And that's why everybody loves, like Tony Robbins and all those inspo things. But at the same time, there's a tactical side. You can go to all the la, rah, but without a tactical discipline, it's not going to go anywhere, right? So it's not so easy. You get the mindset, yes, and you still have to have discipline. So what I found is that if you can translate discipline into a feeling of excitement, the more disciplined you are, like you said, you're building habits, right? So the more disciplined, and you see the fruits of that, you almost get more excited about being more disciplined. If you say, can you talk about how to get more disciplined? Like, what do you think?
Sure. People that go to seminars, I want you to picture a bunch of marbles in my hand. And so they go to the seminar, they're at lunch, they're at break, and you hear click, 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 click. That's them talking. Oh, they're so excited. Oh man, I'm going to the top. This is it. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm done. This is incredible. Click, 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 click. And then Monday morning, you drop them on the table. Some roll farther than others, but they all stop. Because they don't have that internal inertia that will carry them forward. So you can do very simple habits. I mean, there's no secret, you know, so you can do very simple habits that anybody can do because it's easy to do, it's easy not to do. So for most people, it's easy to walk around the block. Conversely, it's easy to blow it off.
Right.
It's easy to not go at your job, but conversely, you're going to lose it. Right. And you're home. So they don't see that the little incremental defaults, you know, I'll blow this off, I'll do this. Yep. It goes back to a lot of people can't be self-employed. If a boss told them for, you know, $50,000 a year to contact 10 people a day, whatever that is, they'll do it. Yep. But they can't tell themselves to do that because they go, I don't feel like it. I want to watch Netflix. So they can just blow stuff off because they're given the boss role and the employee role. And if you want to be a rich employee, you gotta be a rough boss. Yeah. He or she's looking at you in the mirror. So start with basic things, but make that commitment to where you're not gonna do it because it becomes a contract with yourself. So let's say you wanna make a green shake in the morning. Start. But you can't not do it. You know, you have to focus. You can't blow stuff off because you're defaulting on that contract. If I tell you I'm gonna do something, it's done. Yep. If I don't feel like doing it, what does that have to do with it? What does it have to do if I don't feel like it? Because that is the definition of discipline. Doing things you don't feel like doing when they need to be done.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And it goes back to, doesn't that just go back to old school tradition? Like I think about my grandmother, right? And I think about my, you know, the generation now about this, you know, there's almost too much open loosey-goosey for people to, you know, they have too many choices. Oh, I don't want to feel, I've got to be, you know, and it's like back in the day, it's like my grandmother would look at me if I said no to a chore, like, are you kidding? Like there is no, you just do it, you know? And I think it also depends on people's upbringing, you know, I feel that discipline is the foundation of everything. Because when you discipline a child in the appropriate way and you teach them self-discipline and you make them do things that they don't want to do, and teenagers, they develop that grit to keep going and they learn discipline habits. Because I think learning discipline habits is just like any other habit, right? The more you exercise it, the better you perform, the more it becomes, you almost feel weird when you're not being disciplined. When you get a really good discipline habit, would you say? What are other things that you see, and maybe you can reflect on this, that I've seen even with my training academy? We get people that go through the training, they do the work, and, you know, and I look at it and I go, I imagine only 20% of them are actually going to fulfill what they want to do, you know? And how do you find that you tackle that ratio? Is that part of discipline? Or, you know, you've got students. What is it that you see that makes that one student actually go all the way and do it versus the 80% that kind of dabble? And, you know, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, there's tactics to do that, but ultimately they're responsible for themselves, you know, as a full-grown adult. I mean, I can be at the gym, hypothetically, I'm not a trainer, but I can be at the gym, they're waiting for you at 6 a.m. with your protein shake made, ready to show you how to get in shape, and you don't show up. You know, I'm not going by your house and picking you up and putting your shoes on.
Right, exactly.
Some, you know, initiative on that individual's part. But a lot of people know what to do, but they don't do what they know because their habit, they have a subordinate programming. So their parents told them what to do, their bosses told them what to do, their coaches told them what to do, their teachers told them what to do, their spouses told them what to do, and they have like this subordinate. So it's hard for them to tell themselves what to do. They need an authority figure because they're conditioned that way to do it. So I don't know you really, really well. We've talked a bunch of times, but I will tell you, let's say Dawn, Jim, decided to go learn salsa dancing.
Yeah.
Okay. All you guys listening out there, bet against us and you will lose.
Yep.
Learn it. Yep. Jim, get up off the floor. You fell down. I told myself I'm learning this with you. It wouldn't be try. That's the number one word they need to incinerate from their vocabulary. So here you go, right? You've seen this. This is a cell phone. Okay, Jim, try to pick it up. That's not trying to pick it up.
Yeah, exactly.
They're picking it up.
Yeah.
There is no try. You either do or you don't. So that gives people that little exit ramp. Oh, I tried to get in shape.
Oh, yeah.
You either got in shape or you didn't get in shape. There is no.
Try and maybe, right? Try and maybe. Well, maybe. It's like, no. Yeah, try. Yeah, 100%. You're resonating with me so much. I absolutely agree. And I think those things myself, and you're saying it out loud for the world to know. And I think we need more of that voice in the world to let people know, you know what? We're made, human beings are hardwired. We're a certain way, right? Multitasking is like your brain in a blender, I call it, right? Multitasking doesn't work. It's inefficient. We all know that. Yet they promote it, right? Social media overload is overloading people. They're focusing on way too many things, right? They can't focus on anything. What do you say to that? Like the way the world is now with these, principles, like, what do you do? Or, what do you instill to avoid all of this distraction so you can stay more focused? And, what are your thoughts on that? Because I feel like it's a lot of overwhelm. And I think people's brains are literally short circuiting to where we're turning into these like robotic consumers. I'm not, because I don't even watch TV. I don't even own a TV station. Like I'm like you. I just put in what I need for my brain and I protect my environment. But some people have gotten lost on that track, and they don't even realize now that they're just consumers, right? They're just liking. I tell my daughter, I go, do you want to leave your legacy as how many photos you liked? Like let's create instead of like. Let's do instead of follow. Now, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I have a deeper thought on that, even though I agree with everything you just said. The deeper thought is the human mind needs to be conditioned to be an ally, not an adversary. And it's conditioned through omnipotent focus and repetitive focus to where you begin to use it like a laser beam and not like a flashlight. So when you see me go to the gym, I will never pick this thing up. It is impossible to get me to do that, not only because I want to focus, but because I'm training my mind consistently to be 100% engaged in the activity that I'm doing.
Yep.
So I see other people in the gym, they'll do like, a set of whatever, and then back to Instagram.
Yep.
Whatever, back to Instagram. Right. And what happens is that's fine. That's a form of distraction. But your mind now, you're not using the full capacity of your mind to where it is omnipotently just focused and immersed in the task. That takes over to when you're building your business or when you're, with your significant other. Or any situation, if the mind is completely engaged, the distractions kind of fade away. You can't do this and then a little bit of this, and because you're losing the focus, of your mind, which goes into the power of the mind, which goes into the subconscious, which goes into the superconscious or the collective conscious or the quantum field. Pick your label.
Yep.
So you're losing that ability because what is expected tends to be realized. There was a thing. On like a fitness thing, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was on there, and they always ask me like how I won all these contests. He goes, because when I was in the gym, there weren't any of these. When I was in the gym, my training partner and I, all we did was focus on my biceps. All we did focus on my back. All we didn't say, hey, did you see the dancing cat video yet?
Yep.
So,
exactly.
Champions focus. I did an event a month ago down here, one of my events called Deep Dive. And the world poker legend and Hall of Famer Cindy Violette flew in from Vegas. And she was asked, it's very seldom. We get around high achievers all the time, like you, your friends, your circles, my circles.
Yeah.
It's very rare you get in a room with somebody that was number one in the world. Not one of the best. Every poker table on planet Earth in every casino was behind her.
Jeez.
And total sweetheart, but you get there and people asked her, so how did you become not only the world champion, but the next level up is the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Is being like winning a Grammy. So how did you do that? And she goes, all I did is I just became OCD on the task at hand, and I focused until I saw myself progressing up, winning small tournaments. That kept feeding the fire. That kept pouring the gasoline on the spark. Until I became so good that now I was a competitor, and then I became so good that the competitors weren't as good as me.
I love that. I love that.
The same answer, though. Really, no matter if you're a world champion, it's all tenacity, drive, focus, discipline, vision. But people, I think it's easy for them just to hide under the veil of I tried.
Right.
And so I had a lady I'll pitch it back to you. But I had a lady the other day. She goes, I want to start a coaching business, right? And I said, okay. And she goes, I want to get it going. I just don't have time.
Oh, that one. I love it.
I've got too much going on.
I don't have time. Yeah.
I told her. So I said, listen, I'm the time magician.
Yeah.
I am. I go, fortunate for you, I'm the time magician. I go, what if you had 30 hours a month to focus on creating your business and designing it? She goes, man, I'd have $1 million business. I go, great, get up an hour early. Next question.
I love it. I love it. I love that. You just, everything you're saying, I just think that same thing. And that always boggles my mind when and this goes back to, I think, the way that the world online culture is now, where everybody can be a rock star, everybody can instant this, instant that, when the truth is it's not true. It's one of the biggest myths of the new internet age, that everybody can win at everything and be good at everything, and you all should be rock stars without much effort, right? Oh, you can 90 day, it's all this 90 day. Now, you can in certain things, right, when you focus, right? But they're getting scattered, and you're also getting people that are buying into things that are not aligned with what their talents are, right? I do believe that we are born with certain talents, right? We out of the gate, we have some natural things that resonate with us, that we get into flow. For instance, I've been an artist my whole life. I'm a super creative person, and I've been an entrepreneur since I was in second grade, right? I used to take my mom's magazines and I would resell them on the lawn, her beauty magazines for 50 cents, and go buy candy. Like, it's just been it's a neurosis I've had it's something I've done my whole life. And I was just born that way. But what I did, though, is I learned how to harness it and to stay aligned with what gave me excitement. And that also gave me, and all I had to do was develop the discipline around it. But I didn't go into something that didn't align with what my internal excitement was. And I think that's what a lot of people do wrong. Would you agree that if you're not for instance, for me, sitting in a cubicle doing actuary math would be a death sentence for me. I would absolutely be miserable no matter how disciplined I was, right? Because it doesn't align with anything of my nature. However, my friend who's an actuary can do math all day. He sees math as magic, as fun. And I always envied that. I'm like, I just don't get math that way. So do you agree that some people maybe get into the wrong genre for the wrong reason, and that's why they can't develop the discipline, because they're just like totally out of what their natural element should be? What are your thoughts on that?
They graduate from college and they go into a profession they don't really enjoy because it was just a regimented academia move that they thought they needed to do. And they end up in something. Sure, if your passion is pets, dogs, cats, birds, chickens, if your passion is that thing, you go be a veterinarian. I mean, go to college and get a degree and go do that. But don't just go aimlessly towards something that you're going to be in debt and then you don't really enjoy. I remember when I started my entrepreneurial journey. My mother, I had good parents, middle class parents, and so she goes, "What are you going to do?" I go, "I'm going to be a rock star." And she goes, "But your brother's a PhD and he studied hard." I know that you didn't ask me that question. I said, "I'm going to be a rock star." So I grew my hair out, started a rock band, went to the Sunset Strip, toured around with my crew and
I love it,
guys and the crazy stuff. And so I went and did that. After I discovered I wasn't going to be the next Guns N' Roses, I cut my hair and had to go, what do I do? That's when I went to that party. So I called my mom. I said, "Mom, I got great news for you." "What's that?" "I'm not going to be a rock star anymore." She goes, "Thank God, you finally came to your senses." They go, "Yeah, I'm going to be a hypnotist." And she goes, "Something's wrong."
She must have went like, "What?
Something is wrong with you." Then I bought a house 3 times bigger than theirs, and now I'm doing something illegal. So, because they weren't an entrepreneur like you and I are. That's a normal construct. I went and it'll be real quick. On my 30th birthday, I was dating a girl in San Diego who was from Detroit. So we went to Detroit on my 30th birthday. The proverbial meet the parents thing, right? So I go to Detroit with her. I'm from 29 for my 30th birthday, and I met her parents. Now her parents, nothing wrong with this, but he worked for Ford Motor Company, union laborer, put the whatever he did. Great. So we're sitting in the living room. She goes off with Mom. I'm sitting there with her dad, and he goes, "So Jim, tell me, do you have a job?" "No." He goes, "You don't have a job?" "No, I don't have a job." "Okay, do you intend on getting a job?" "No." I never saw her again. That was it. He had no idea that the American free enterprise exists. All he was doing is, I can get you a job at the Ford factory and you can be part of the union, because he was so confined. And I tell all my students in my seminars, I say, if you want to know about water, and you can borrow this one, by the way. So if you want to know about water, you don't ask a fish.
Right.
Because the fish doesn't notice it because it's around it its whole life. If you want to know about the American free enterprise system, you don't ask an American.
Right.
You ask somebody that came here on a raft from Cambodia and became a millionaire, true story, selling laundromats in LA in 5 years, because he saw the land of opportunity and he went for it. He wasn't regimented into, I need this certain hierarchy to make more money.
Right.
You can do whatever you want. Like you were saying, people, if they're really good with all the, the tenets of success, discipline, mind power, everything else, then they can start a business. And these days, especially, with online, offline options, they can easily do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say on closing this that, this is geared for people that want to be entrepreneurs. I believe that there's a role for everybody. We need the people that do the day-to-day, that are employed. We need employees. And to me, that's not a negative at all. Some people, that's what they thrive on. And you know what? That's the nature of assistants and people that do the admin and do this wonderful work that makes everything work for us entrepreneurs, right? I would just say that with that, make sure that whatever you choose, you love. I know people that love organizing. They just can't, they love it. And so, that's great. Make it work for a company if that works for you. So whatever works for you, but if you want to be an entrepreneur and build a big business, then you got to tap into what we're talking about, right? It's a difference. So, yeah.
100%. It's whatever works for you. As long as that one word you're immersed in, you need to be happy. You got to be happy. I mean, my brother, he says, I could never be an entrepreneur, Jim. I just don't have the drive that you have. And so he had more of the regimented job, but he was very happy.
Yep.
So it really doesn't matter. And I get this stuff all the time. I was like, well, Jim, when are you going to retire? I said, entrepreneurs don't retire.
They never retire.
Why don't you call Beyonce?
Yeah.
Hey, Beyonce, listen, we tapped into your bank account, sweetheart. You got enough money. You can just do nothing and sit on the beach. No, she wants to go to the recording studio.
Yeah.
The Rolling Stones are like 81 years old, touring around. So it's not about retiring. And I'll give you what I teach everybody. I say artists don't retire, and entrepreneurs are a form of artist.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's a great way to define an entrepreneur as an artist, because you're creating something from nothing a lot of the times, right? And you have a vision, you're visionary. And sometimes it's hard for us because you've got this great vision. And for me, it usually just comes. I just see it and I can't explain it. It's just right there. And it's hard to explain sometimes to people what that is. So you get kind of, I think the entrepreneur, the visionary gets a little frustrated with the tactical people. There's this kind of like, we're trying to explain. So you got to, it's not simple, but it's completely doable if you learn these basic principles, right? It's completely doable. Now, there's a lot of tactical you need to learn, and some things are not so fun and boring. But, at the end of the day, I would never trade it for anything else. It's the roller coaster ride forever, right? And if you look, why would people say, where did the 65 retirement age even come from? I don't even know where. That's an artificial premise. I mean, if you look at Warren Buffett, is Warren Buffett retired? No. Is Charlie Munger retired? No, they're still going. Why is, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? He's still going. He's got his next thing.
Journey, Aerosmith, the Rolling Stones, you'll go on and on and on.
Yeah.
They haven't even tried to retire. And then they go, we're going to do one more tour. This is the last one. No, we're going to do one more tour. This is the last one. Because they can't just sit around and do nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you're listening to this and you're 65, 70, or, in your late 50s, and you still haven't hit that stride as an entrepreneur, your game isn't even close to being over. In fact, most CEOs just get started in their 50s.
Yep.
So, you're just getting started. Figure it out. Tap into Jim. Go to some of these things. Start connecting with the people that you've been, putting aside or whatever, or not sure. We're here for you. There's plenty of us around to grab you by the hand. And the nothing we love more is that excitement of getting together with other entrepreneurs. It's like the room just lights up, right? You're just like, it's so exciting. What are you doing? What are you doing? I think it's so much fun. Well, Jim, thank you so much for your time. We'll obviously talk more. I would like to get more into your events, what you offer, and also I do want to spend some time going deeper into the psychology and the mind, all those other, how the body mind connects and all of that. I think it's fascinating. So we'll definitely do more together. But thank you again, and look forward to seeing you soon. I'll be in San Diego. So
fantastic, can't wait. And I've got an event coming up called the Penthouse Mastermind, July 13th, 14th. If your listeners want to come, I'll give them a special discount to get in and hang around the kind of people that Don just talked about. And we'd love to have you. And I look forward to meeting you, Don, right around the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.